everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Engines of Somewhere Wales. We're in the double digits now. Well, technically we were in the last episode, but I forgot to mention it, so I'm gonna mention it now. Anyway, last time we discussed the smallest diesel on the railway, Wannabe. Today, however, we're gonna be going deep into the mines of Gallagher Coal and Coke with the little 080 himself, Spitfire. This episode should be an interesting one, as we'll be covering 3 different versions of Spitfire throughout his time on the SWLR. So, grab your pickaxe, mining helmet, and canary as we head down to the depths of the mine with Spitfire. Spitfire, as we know him, did not start out either as Spitfire or even a 2-foot locomotive. Back in the year 1902, Spitfire would be constructed at the Duffield Works in the United Kingdom to the design of Arthur Heywood's locomotive Muriel, an 080 miniature gauge engine that would originally ran on the Duffield Bank Railway. I'll get into Muriel's history later. Between 1902 and 1908, Spitfire would be re-gauged to 2-foot and renamed the Stonemason before coming on to the SWLR to help aid in the construction of the line between Kitsborough and the Bryn Califan Quarry. Stonemason would then go on to serve the SWLR for a few years until being transferred to the Gallagher Mines in 1925, where he would be overhauled to the Kits Works, being overseen personally by Solomon Gallagher, where he would be modified slightly to operate in the mine, along with now being coke-fired rather than coal-fired, as coke burned cleaner, which benefited greatly when working in the mine shafts. In the 1940s, during World War II, Stonemason would be taken over by the Kitsborough Militia and renamed the Spitfire in honor of the Royal Air Force's primary fire aircraft, the Supermarine Spitfire. Spitfire is an 080T locomotive, meaning he has 0 pilot wheels, 8 driving wheels, and 0 trailing wheels. Spitfire is a side tank, meaning his water and coke are stored on 2 tanks on each side of his boiler. Spitfire is 10 feet 9 1/4 inch long, 3 feet 10 inch wide, and 6 feet tall. Spitfire has a top speed of 15 studs per second, or around 10 miles per hour, with a tractive effort of around 2,361 lbf, with a horsepower rating of around 63. Spitfire's original model had the same whistle as Wannabe and Salty, but now has a more high-pitched shrieking one. Here are some samples. Spitfire would continue to serve in his wartime duties, driving practice targets around until the end of the war, where he would be left idle at the Colliery, his fate uncertain. However, when the railway was preserved in 1965, he was found on the Colliery property and easily purchased, becoming the first preserved locomotive to run on the line, followed by Ireworth, running tourist trains up and down, being one of the few locomotives to have a happy ending on the Somewhere Wales Light Railway. Spitfire began life long ago in 2015 as Stonemason, interestingly enough. According to City Oster, the original Stonemason was originally built from a 2-stud River Ert model, originally called Number 4. Eventually, it would be flashed out into an engine owned by the Ministry of Defense, gaining the name Spitfire because of the wartime idea. A 2015 model of Spitfire does exist in the inventory of one of City Oster's old accounts. There also might be one of Stonemason as well, but that is currently unconfirmed. Spitfire's model that he would have when he first appeared in Wales was constructed in September of 2018 and would be officially added on the day of release in December of 2018, along with Gary, Cork, and Tram. His original model came with a lamp, however it would be removed following a modification to make him run better. The lamp would be re-added in October of 2020 during the logging camp update. Spitfire would not change until December 1st, 2023, where he would be completely overhauled to be Heywood's Muriel locomotive, being a 1-to-1 replica of Muriel, albeit re-gauged to 2-foot, along with getting all new features that the modern Somewhere Wales locomotives have. In 2025, during the May 25th update, 2 new versions of Stonemason would be added, being his as-built condition when he first arrived on the railway and his Gallagher Mine condition when he was purchased by them. These days, Spitfire and Stonemason can be found running in-game either one of his 3 conditions and will continue to run for many years to come. Spitfire is directly based on Arthur Heywood's Muriel locomotive, as I've stated several times before. Muriel was constructed in 1894 by the Duffield Works for his estate railway, being one of the earliest 15-inch gauge locomotives built. Muriel's design would include the Brown/Heywood valve gear, a unique outside valve gear that uses this vertical sliding rod to control the direction and looks somewhat similar to Hacksworth valve gear, although being very different. Hey guys, future UC this here. So I was recently reading the Wikipedia page for the Duffield Bank Railway, and it turns out the valve gear was actually based on Joy valve gear. So yeah, I probably should have mentioned that. Apologies for that misinformation. I'm gonna put it in here right now. Yeah, I really should read these Wikipedia pages before. I originally didn't because it was not on Muriel, but you know, it had some information on Muriel, so you know, my bad. Anyway, back to the video. She would also come with a marine boiler and Arthur Haywood's revolutionary radiating axle design, which allowed for locomotives to take tight curves and would be the first patented. Muriel's original design interestingly came with no suspension of any kind, as Mr. Haywood expected his right-of-way to be laid at an immaculate condition with an incredibly smooth roadbed. However, this didn't exactly work out that well. Muriel and the rest of Sir Arthur Haywood's equipment would continue to run on his estate railway until his death in 1916, where much of the stock would be sold to the Ravenglass and Eskdale Railway. Muriel would, for a time, work at the Grinta munitions factory before being sold to the Ravenglass in 1917, along with her sister engine Ella. Muriel would continue to run goods trains and stone trains, along with some passenger trains during the summer months. However, in 1927, she would be withdrawn and turned to a stationary pumping boiler. That same year, interestingly enough, it was found that her frame, cylinder, and motion were still in good condition, and thus she would be rebuilt into an OA2 locomotive named River Ert, replacing her side tanks for a 6th-wheel tender and getting her rear frames extended to allow for a rear trailing wheel and gaining a 1/3 scale cab. She would be completed in 1928 and subsequently renamed that same year, and ever since then, she has remained in active service, now becoming the oldest 15-inch gauge locomotive left running and now can be seen hauling passenger trains in the Ravenglass and Eskdale Railway. Interestingly enough, Spitfire's original model when in game was based off River Ert's general design, although without the cab and still keeping the side tanks, while his modern design is a direct copy of Muriel's, as they are the same class, making Spitfire rebuilt a reverse of Muriel, going from River Ert's design back to Muriel's. Well, that's another episode of Engines of Some War Whales all finished up. Thank you all so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed it. I'll admit, this video was way simpler to write considering Spitfire is literally just a direct copy of Muriel, so the basic section was pretty simple. Special things too. Daxen9N, Lemon V02, Trainboy Gaming 94, and City Austin for all their help on this video. Anyway, tune in next time for when we either cover the Gallagher Mines other engine, or the Denko engine. I'm not sure which one I want to do first, so I'll put up a poll to let you two decide which one you want. Anyway, that's all I have for now. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day. I'll see you all later.